All right, good morning. Welcome in. We are the Out of Bounds Show, 1059 The Zone ESPN, brought to you by Spring Street Cigars in Starkville, Oxford, Tupelo, Meridian, Kosciuszko, DeSoto County. Great place for premium smokes, including La Florida Dominicanas, Olivas, and we'll go Liga Privadas for game day. Spring Street Cigars. We want to welcome in our friend Lee Sterling, handicapper to the gods, ParamountSports.com. Remember this number for about 7 minutes from now, 800-400-9741. Lee, we've got the cocktail party in Jacksonville. I've been to that game. It's really awesome. It's 14 points. Is that too many points for you to lay with Georgia?
I think it might be, Bo, because if they had Brock Bowers playing in this game, I might lay 20 points. I think right now with Marvin Harrison, those are the two best players in college football. I mean, if anyone else wins it, well, Brock Bowers isn't going to win because he's going to miss second half of the season, but they're by far the two best. And how do you get by without him? I mean, he's already had 41 catches on the year for over 550 yards. Next best receiver is Dominic Lovett with 18 catches here. So I think his loss is going to force some drastic changes in the offense. And if you want to cover a big spread, you got to get in a bunch of possessions. Georgia, bottom third in the country in pace of play. I mean, Florida's not great this year, but they're scoring better, 38 and 41 points the last two games. And Georgia 1-6 against the spread this year. Kind of tells you a lot about their program. Not where they were last year, they're being overvalued. I think they escaped 30-24. That's maybe way too many points here.
Okay, so Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, says take the points tomorrow in the cocktail party. Lee, what's going on at Paramount Sports this week and throughout the next couple of weeks?
So this is one of those rare 2-week periods of the year. All four sports are taking place. College football and the NFL having a great season. We're 61-38 on the year. NBA started a couple days ago. We're 2-0 there so far. Hockey going on. We've already won 6 more games than we've lost, and that's only been going on for 2 weeks. And Major League Baseball World Series. So once in a while we'll have a one-day all-access pass, usually on a Saturday. I moved it up to a Friday. Normally it's $77, $97 for 7 plays. I'm going to give you 7 plays in all 4 sports, $17. That's right, you heard me correct. Not $77 or $97, $17. So even if you're a client, and let's say you're on with me for a sport, try the other 3 sports, $17. Or if you haven't ever tried me before, or you hopped off for some reason, we're winning in all 4 sports. Give it a try. One day, 7 selections, $17. Works out to little less than $2.50 a selection. One place, ParamountSports.com.
All right, so 7 plays, $17, ParamountSports.com. Lee Sterling on the Out of Bounds Show. Lee, is 24-24.5 too many to lay for Ole Miss tomorrow night in Vaught Hemingway as they take on the mighty Vanderbilt Commodores?
Not if they play smart. I mean, I loved the game plan last week. They identified that they could run the football with a lot of success, and they used a run to set up the pass. And Jenkins had a huge game. So even had some big plays called back. I would do the same here. And Vanderbilt will beat themselves. Ken Seals, the backup, is going to play. He's just not good. I mean, he turns the ball over. He'll either fumble or get intercepted 2 or more times here. Sometimes you got to lay it if you want to play it here. Ole Miss 48, Vanderbilt 14.
Blowout city in Oxford tomorrow night, according to Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports. All right, Mississippi State going down to Auburn. These are 2 teams. Well, Auburn doesn't even have a conference win. And it's 6 to 6.5. MSU got a win in an ugly, ugly game in Fayetteville, but they'll take it last weekend. You laying the points or you taking them?
So Auburn is obviously challenged here. They are a team that, they can play to a certain level here. Don't like the fact that they're playing 2 quarterbacks, but against Mississippi State, and it looks like we're not going to see their starter again. And
no.
I think that if that happens, and it looks like it is going to happen, I think it spells problems here for Mississippi State. I think they got to have a little bit, more pass rush threat. Just running the football isn't going to be enough. So without Will Rogers, their leader, Mike White filled in. They won the game, but different level here of opponent here. And I think special teams might also be the difference here also. I like Auburn here. I think they pull away late here, 28-17.
Yeah, Mississippi State's got to punt the ball better. 32 yards in Power 5 SEC. I can find somebody down the street that can do that. All right.
Don't make fun of that, Bo. That was my average first 2 games of college football.
Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com on the Out of Bounds show. 7 plays, $17. ParamountSports.com. Oh, speaking of, your Miami Hurricanes in that win. Talk to me.
Yeah, it was a nice win. I mean, they needed it after not taking the knee in the Georgia Tech game and then just falling apart in the second half against North Carolina. Crazy. That's why we love college football, Bo. Look at North Carolina. After they beat Miami, everyone thinks they're going to beat Georgia Tech. They lose. Louisville had been rolling along. They lose. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the free play. Oh, all right. Tell our listeners, Lee.
Tennessee and Kentucky. Got a good one here. Have a real strong opinion on one side of this game. You want to get Tennessee, Kentucky. Huge play for me. It's even a client play. Just one place. Call 800-400-9741. 800-400-9741 to get Tennessee, Kentucky on me. And like I said, 7 selections, just $17. It's an immediate download. Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
Are you excited about the World Series?
Oh, yeah. It may not be sexy, may not be Philadelphia, may not be the Dodgers, may not be a New York team, but 2 teams playing great and a lot of fun young players.
Yeah, it is. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com, 7 plays, only $17. 7 plays, only $17. Also, get the free play, first 10 callers, 800-400-9741. That's 800-400-9741. And Lee mentioned you've got college football, NFL, MLB, NBA, and that's just a short window because of the World Series. Thanks, Lee Sterling. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bo. Have a great weekend.
ParamountSports.com. Lee Sterling on the Out of Bounds show. He's got Blowout City in Oxford. He said, lay them. Lay the points. That's
a lot of points. But he's saying
48-14. Yeah, 48-14.
Ooh. I could see it. I could see it.
Well, yeah.
But it's also Ole Miss versus Vanderbilt.
You'll have your Quinshawn Judkins jersey on tomorrow.
I'll be wearing the socks.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the socks.
Didn't I get you the socks?
Yeah, I got 2 pairs.
Okay.
And they are...
Because PK gave them to... Patrick Kelly from Finch and Kelly gave them to me.
We can match tomorrow. I can give you the other pair back. I have 2.
I forgot I am really a good guy. I just gave you a tumbler.
Yes, just got a tumbler. Thank you very much for that.
From Southern Ag Credit. They gave us swag bags yesterday. Really nice stuff. And then I gave you Quinshawn Judkins socks.
Yeah, give it to 4.
Dang, man. And we gave away some too. Okay. And I gave somebody a Tito's vodka helmet yesterday. So I don't have although they've got one coming for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, you're just Mr. Giving Tree over here.
Well, I really am. Jerry said that they are shipping another Tito's vodka helmet to us. So I gave it to one of my buddies who wanted it and he's a big Ole Miss fan.
Okay. There we go.
He's one of my close friends. And I love him to death. And he gave me hooked me up with some deer meat, some venison.
Ooh.
And he's been talking about this Tito's vodka helmet forever. Well, I had it in my car. And I was like, here. And you would have thought Christmas came early.
He knew you had it.
And he's going to put it in his hunting camp. But it's a conversation piece. Whenever you bring helmets. That's why I bring them on remotes. What do we got next? Bar 2? All right, Dave Bar 2. Crazy Pills. Matrix Analytical coming up next.
ever started a year 8-0 by scoring more than 30 points in every game and holding everybody under 10 points. Right before the college, I
Michigan.
during the week. So, I work in politics full time.
Wow. Steve Dace at Michigan Podcast on the Out of Bounds Show on the Farm Bureau.
Nothing has been formally accused of the school or the.
I just can't. All right, we're visiting with Steve Dace at Michigan Podcast. The Out of Bounds Show is driven by your next Ford F-150 at Mack Hike.
When the lights are about to be turned off, you know what you need. Because you gotta somehow make that paper, right?
Money! Show me the money!
You come to the right place for that, because it's time for Bo Bounds to...
Show me the money!
To show you the...
All right, the Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by your next Easy Go golf car at Ben Nelson Golf and Outdoors in Madison, Memphis, and the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Ben Nelson Golf and Outdoors. And let Benji Nelson and the team at Ben Nelson Golf and Outdoors take care of you. That's right. You're looking for an easy-go golf car for the neighborhood. Perfect. Ben Nelson Golf and Outdoors. We welcome in Matrix Analytical, #1 staffing firm in the country for college football, athletic directors and coaches. Dave Bartu joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Hey, buddy, what's happening?
Dude, I didn't think that all of our coaching work could go to the next level, and in this last week, we discovered something new in the data, and I'm blown away by the numbers we have now that we're adding to the staffing and staff building for these guys. But that's not what I'm here to talk about, though. I do dabble in the dark arts of sports betting and all that other stuff. So we can go any direction you want outside of staffing's pretty boring this time of year, unless you're Michigan State and D'Antonio going to go hire Pat Narduzzi and piss everybody off.
Oh, are they going to go? Is Narduzzi at Pitt?
No, he was. Yeah, he's at Pitt. Remember, and he was the defensive coordinator for Michigan State. I'm just saying that because that'd be the lazy man's way out, right? Because D'Antonio's in charge of the hiring process at Michigan State. Easiest thing for him is to go hire a buddy. That's Pat Narduzzi, who's having a terrible year at Pitt. So, do I think that's the way they should go? No, but I think it's a distinct possibility because you and I have seen that how many times where, this buddy goes hires that buddy because the AD and the new head coach know each other. So we'll see where it goes. That's why we call it silly season.
Buddy hires. You should write a book on that. You really should.
Dude, I can write a book on buddy hires and influencing college football game outcome with penalty flags. I can do both really good. No, I'm not kidding. I can. When a flag is thrown, I can tell you the change in odds of that drive scoring or not scoring. I can tell you how it affects the game, and it's funny because every weekend people are complaining about this and complaining about that with officiating, and it's like, man, you just don't get human nature. That's one of my little nugget to everybody listening. When you look at a game and you're complaining about flag frequency and flag behavior, think about human behavior and what would you be doing if you were on that field. So just look at it from a different point of view. You'll start to see things when you actually understand human behavior as it relates to a game being interesting or not interesting for the officiating crew. Not always about being fair.
Well, that makes sense. And you started talking about it a couple of years ago that, there's crews that are flag happy, and then there are crews who rarely throw a flag and a little bit of in between. Right.
But the crews are consistent. See, that's the thing is there's a crew in the Big Ten. They've been a crew together for nearly a decade. 64% of all the games they officiate, the dog covers. Think about that. 64% the dog covers, and the dog wins outright 54% of the time. Dude, that is not even close to reality at all. And this crew is considered a top crew. Why? They keep games close. That's why. So,
oh my God.
It's understanding each individual crew. It's not, people try to blame, the conference does this and the Pac-12 is terrible at this and the SEC is bad at that. No, it's individual crew behavior. You got to understand the individual crew. It's one of the fun things I do every Saturday.
Okay. Bar 2 on the Out of Bounds show and the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. I want to talk Ole Miss Vandy and this over-under. So Ole Miss Vandy is 63.5. Bar 2.
Right. So I know that you're sitting there going, because you're like, Vandy's terrible. How is Mississippi going to score 63 to make it 63.5 to nothing to cover this, right? That's what's going on. I know your brain. You're just like so over the top one way or the other, hot and cold. But when you look at the numbers year to date, I mean, obviously Ole Miss with their offense. What are they right now? In my numbers, I got them at 18, and I got the Vanderbilt defense at 124. Okay, so Ole Miss is going to get theirs. The Vanderbilt offense is actually pretty similar to the Ole Miss defense. I got to lean over in this one. I know that I don't know exactly what 63.5 is in terms of frequency out there, but this definitely leans an offensive game. Both offenses. The Vanderbilt offensive scoring efficiency is better than Ole Miss's defensive scoring efficiency on the year. Then Ole Miss's offense is vastly better than Vanderbilt's defense. Dude, I can't figure it out. Clark Lee has had a bottom 25 defensive scoring efficiency in all of FBS every damn year he's been there. And every time I look at it, I keep thinking, oh, Clark Lee's an offensive coordinator. No, he's a defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. He can the defensive side of it, literally, to save his life and job. I just don't understand it. They have not been able to turn the corner. They've gotten a lot better on offense. They're respectable on offense. So and for that reason, I believe Ole Miss Vanderbilt. If I'm going to bet something here, I will bet the over on that one. I would avoid the spread because what's it at? 25.5.
24 and
I think it opened at 24.5. Okay, so it was 25.5 when I was looking at it on my lines this morning. So it's dropped down a little bit. I think the offense for Vanderbilt's good enough. You can get a backdoor cover on that. I think that one always gives me heebie-jeebie, those big lines. So I'll lean over on the 63.5 that you're looking at, just because I do believe both offenses are going to put up points this weekend.
Okay. Bar 2, Matrix Analytical, number one college football staffing firm in the country. Bar 2 joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. This interview is driven by your next Ford F-150 at Mackay Ford, I-55 North in Jackson. I want to do this. Georgia, Florida, over-under, cocktail party is 47.5. Bar 2. Which side you riding?
Well, what's our spread on that baby? So we're at 47.5 for the total.
Yeah.
And
14.5.
So, and we got Georgia by 14. 14. So what are we looking at? We're looking at a 30. So then what they're predicting is a 30-17 football game, right? I mean, that's what the line. If you do the math, we're at 47.5. Spread's 14. Football number. The lines makers are saying Georgia's going to win this 30-17. Offensively, Georgia's numbers, both categories, offense and defense, are strong over Florida. I always worry about. I keep trying to tell myself that rivalry games don't mean nothing, and it's just the quality of the teams. But damn, it proves me wrong so many dang times. There's just something about the emotional level in the football game. I don't know which way to go on this one. I'm looking at the numbers right now, and Georgia's offense. Actually, the surprise to me is Georgia's offense is way better than their defense. Georgia doesn't even have the top defense in the SEC. That belongs to Alabama. It's amazing. Everybody's riding Alabama, probably because they lost the one game to Texas, but nobody's on Georgia, who's taken a step back. And well, who wants to get on Georgia's case? They won the last two national titles, so what do they care if they go even 0-12?
Right.
I'm gonna take the high ground on this one and just say, I don't know where that's gonna go. I really don't. The two best units on the field are the offenses, so I'm gonna lean over in that. But Florida's offense is not better than Georgia's defense. No, I'm not seeing any way I can lean on this, because I'm looking at my power rankings as well, and it's tight. I just don't have a feel for which way to go on that one at all. Straight up. Okay. I just, don't have a feel for it.
All right, Dave Bar 2 on the Out of Bounds show. We're brought to you by the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook and Lounge. Now, South Carolina at A&M, Bar 2. The spread.
Here's a slump buster game. Here's a slump buster. This is where A&M needs to get over on somebody at home this weekend. South Carolina has one of the biggest regressions in college football this month. South Carolina at the end of September versus South Carolina today is not the same team. The numbers look like this team is borderline giving up across the board. And A&M, in spite of everybody beating the crap out of them, they have good numbers on the season. Top 25 defense, top 35 offense. They've been largely unfocused all year. I don't believe this team is entirely focused. They do lead the country with USC in false starts. That's the first indicator of a focus issue. So I think Jimbo and A&M are still struggling with focus. But dude, this is a South Carolina team. I think it's just teetering. You and I talked about this before. I think does South Carolina go to if South Carolina goes to Vanderbilt, I'm taking Vanderbilt right now. Right now, I'll take Vanderbilt. Right, Vanderbilt's playing better football than South Carolina. They are more focused than South Carolina. South Carolina might lose out from here on. So A&M is favored by 14 over South Carolina.
They are.
They are. Yeah, I'll lay the points. I'll lay the points at home. If it troubles me because it's Jimbo Fisher, and my numbers on Jimbo, they're average, but you look at these numbers, offensive, defensive, year to date. I think Texas A&M actually maybe they'll cover that in the first half. Take like the -7 in the first half. I think. Well, that might be a better bet. That might be a better, safer bet than letting something sneak in later on. But I don't think it's going to be sneaky. I think this game is going to be a blowout.
Ooh, that kind of Ole Miss. Lane always starts out hot. In the beginning of the game, and I mean, most of the time,
it's September, October, right? September, October, the last 3 years, party in the sit, baby, and then November hit, and it disappears. 2 years ago, it disappeared. Last year, this team was top 20 in offense and defensive scoring efficiency. They finished outside the top 50 in both at the end of November. So that's one of my big. If there was, like a top 10 days SEC things to watch in November on the board. I know it's only October, but come on, we're getting close. Does Ole Miss fall apart down the stretch? Because they have each of the last 2 years.
I don't. Well, obviously Vanderbilt is a good recipe for success. So blow out there, and then we'll just see what they do with A&M and Georgia. Mississippi State, the drill, man. They're going through a tough time. So it's A&M and Georgia.
Rivalry game. Yeah, rivalry game. How many times have we talked about this that we conclusively know who's going to win the Egg Bowl, right? We know what direction it's going to go, and then boom, it shows up, and it's like, well, I didn't think that was going to happen. Cool.
Yeah.
Right? The A&M game, the A&M against Ole Miss, that's delicious because that's a great trap game, right? Because you got Georgia right after A&M, and you got A&M at home. Because that is a recipe to overlook A&M. And A&M is not bad enough to overlook. They really aren't. So, all eyes are on that A&M trap game and then the Georgia one after that. And we'll just see how they perform. They've done good offensively, no surprise there. Defensively, I'd say if we got to talk to Pete and Lane right now, they'd say we're not where we want to be. And I mean that seriously, not just coach speak. I think Ole Miss could be better on defense as well. So we'll see what they do in November after they beat up on Vanderbilt.
Okay. Bar 2, Matrix Analytical on the Out of Bounds show. We're talking sports betting lines, all that stuff. Brought to you by the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook and Lounge and award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Party in the Sip. How about that? Bar 2 dropped it. I mean, Jason doesn't know what to do right now. how many times does he text his friends during the day? Party in the Sip. Party in the Sip. Okay.
Dude, that's one of my motivations for coming on the show. Every time he calls me, it's like, drop it. I'm like, okay, I'll try to figure out how to work it in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like calling you a cowbell honk. More cowbell. Come on, Bo.
More cowbell, baby.
Cowbell. More cowbell.
More
baby.
cowbell. All right. What else? Oh, Kentucky, Tennessee. Okay.
Kentucky.
So,
yeah.
Tennessee has come off of two brutal games against Texas A&M and Alabama as far as physicality. And now they play a Kentucky team that's reeling. And it's 51.5 over under and 3.5 point spread, bar 2.
Who's the favorite?
Tennessee.
Kentucky?
Laying 3.5.
Tennessee is the favorite?
Yeah.
I'm not. Dude, okay. These teams are identical. I mean, this is power versus power. I mean, the best offense on the field is Kentucky. The best defense on the field is Tennessee. Tennessee's offense and Kentucky's defense are almost the exact same number. This is on paper. In Tennessee, look, Tennessee has better talent, right? But on paper, performance year to date, these are the exact same teams. And Kentucky's at home, and I'm catching 3.5. I got to go with Kentucky in this one. I think on a neutral field, this is closer to a 0 game. So I'll take the better unit on the field in Kentucky at home, and the point. If it was Kentucky minus 3.5, I'd take the plus 3.5 if I was Tennessee. I think it's going to be a field goal football game, but I'll take the dog and the points in that one with Kentucky.
Okay.
And actually, the same thing. I'm looking at the numbers right now. I'm looking at the same thing. Auburn and Mississippi State. I'm taking the points there too. Both these teams have played balanced football versus each other. If you look at it on paper, it is strength versus weakness. It is strength versus weakness. This is a very, very balanced game as well. I'm going. Actually, we've taken Mississippi State in the points a lot this year, and have done good on it with this show. So I'm taking 6.5 points plus 6.5 dog on the road at Auburn as well. I like the dogs in both of those games with the points, State and Kentucky.
The over/under is 41.5. MSU Auburn.
On Auburn, Mississippi State is 41.5.
Yeah.
I'm going over. Yeah,
okay.
I'm going over. I'm going over. I like being over in that game. A&M Carolina. I got nothing on the total, but I'll take A&M and lay the 14. Kentucky +3. Ole Miss Vanderbilt. Let's just go high score, and we'll go over 63.5. And Florida Georgia. Let's just drink and hope something crazy happens. Right? Let's just enjoy that one and hope for a good game, because I'm looking at these numbers and it shouldn't be a good game. Right? It shouldn't be a good game looking at these numbers. But I mean, one of the biggest surprises of the year so far for me was Florida just smoking Tennessee at home. So I don't know which Florida team's going to show up. Hell, I don't know which Georgia team's going to show up. I can tell you one thing about Georgia. Next Tuesday, playoff committee is going to have them number 6 if nothing changes above them. They'll be number 6 next week, behind, in order, Florida State, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Michigan 4, Washington 5, Georgia Bulldogs 6. They ain't done played nobody. They beat nobody. It's about resume, not projections.
Go over that top 5 again. Seriously.
So right now in the playoff formula, right? Playoff behavior formula, we would have Florida State, by a whisker over Ohio State. Absolute whisker. And the reason being is Florida State picked up an extra quality win over the weekend. One of their teams went over 500, so they have 5 quality wins. Ohio State only has 4. Oklahoma would be 3. That one's easy. Okay. Number 4 would be Michigan. Now, the week before, Michigan was behind Washington, but Washington's game control and margin of victory took a huge hit, 15-7 against Arizona State. So Michigan, in spite of no top 25 wins and only 4 quality wins, Michigan's game control puts them at number 4 this week. Washington is 5, and Georgia is down there at 6. Georgia only has 2 quality wins. They can beat a top 25 team. Their game control is number 6 out of the top 6, and their strength of schedule is number 6 out of the top 6. They got nothing right now. Yeah, can they win out and get in? Sure, but resume through week 8 puts them number 6 in the country, in my opinion, in the committee. Watch it. Next week, they will not be top 4 if everybody above them wins.
Okay, so Florida State, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have at 5? You got Georgia at 6.
Washington at 5. Georgia at 6.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If
Would
if
you,
those 5 teams above them, if nobody loses, right? If there's no upset, I will bet money right now Georgia is not top 4 come next Wednesday.
Okay. And Michael Penix Jr., quarterback for Washington, would you draft him in the first round?
Oh, yeah. I said that last year. I thought if he came out, he should have come out last year. I thought he'd have been the number 1 pick. by far. Now he's got broken ribs, so he ain't going to play very good for the next month because broken displaced ribs is horrible. I can't imagine what it's like being quarterback, twisting, turning, throwing. It's bad enough just sitting on your butt, working on a spreadsheet with hurt ribs. So, but yeah, I think this year is the golden year. All these super seniors, I think this is the golden year for quarterbacks. I think there's going to be NFL starters all over the place that come out of these 5th and 6th year senior quarterbacks that have learned how to play the game better.
Okay.
I think this is going to make for better NFL quarterbacking.
Do you have Bo Nix as a first-round pick, Bartu?
Oh, I don't look at it from a first-round, second-round pick. I'm not a round guy. I look at what have you done to justify. What do your numbers in college? How do they correlate with NFL starters? Okay, that's why I said Brock Purdy in that class. That's why he was the number 2 pick. I didn't care what round he went in. He had the second best potential on my board. So with Bo Nix, you have massive games started, right? I mean, he's going to start over 60 games at college. I love that. Has he accelerated Oregon past its potential? Questionable, right? I mean, because you're talking about a top 10 recruiter. How good is he? I think that's the biggest question mark I have with Bo Nix is he's surrounded by NFL talent on the offensive line, at wide receiver, at running back. It's just like Caleb Williams. It's just really easy for them. And I want my quarterbacks that are going to start in the NFL, I want pain in college, right? I want their offensive coordinator to be average. I want their recruiting to be average. I want their defense to not be very good. I want my quarterbacks to carry the bag every Saturday because in the NFL, you got to do that every Sunday. So I love seeing them learn at that level. So, I would take Penix way ahead of Nick just off of experience, let alone potential. We'll see where Nick falls. He'll get drafted. I'm just curious to see if everything he's learned in, 18 years at college and starting all these games, translates to NFL success.
We'll leave it there. Bartu, Matrix Analytical. Thanks, dude. See you, buddy.
Have a good one, buddy. Thank you.
That was a 40-ounce bone-in ribeye from Philip M's at Pearl River Resort. That hit was brought to you by the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook and Lounge. We want to thank everybody here at Southern.
Cinch. Is back. Foot. Mississippi. Side of BankPlus. Cinch.
Easy.
Estrogen thermometer.com.
Loses, right? If there's no upset top four come next Wednesday.
Okay.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
You ready?
Let's go!
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now live in the BankPlus Studio, where college football meets the all lifestyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is
The Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds, streaming around the world live at the Out of Bounds radio app and on your radio at ESPN 105.9.
Where are you?
The Zone.